Also, along with this, coming back to the pivotal seat, the New Delhi seat where Arvind Kejriwal is trailing, he was briefly in the lead by a very, very slight margin, 200 to 300 votes. And now the report suggests that he's trailing once again. Ramesh Bidhuri in Kalkaji is leading in front of Atishi, the Chief Minister of Delhi. So those are two pivotal figures of the Aam Aadmi Party who are trailing in their respective seats. Also, Manish Sisodia, former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, is also trailing in Jangpura as far as in the New Delhi seat. Parvesh Singh is in the lead. Now, this is going to be a major seat. We've discussed this in the past as well, that New Delhi seat, Ms. Fadnis. As far as Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, let's just focus on Delhi at this point, whether they win, whether they lose. Them losing New Delhi seat for Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, is it going to be equally devastating as losing Delhi?
I think so, because the election was fought on Arvind Kejriwal. If Arvind Kejriwal has lost, his de facto number 2, Manish Sisodia, has lost. His selected Chief Minister Atishi has lost, then it's a massive vote of no confidence in the BJP, in the AAP's leadership. Every MLA, AAP changed 29 MLAs before the election. It replaced 29 MLAs, reshuffled 29. Manish Sisodia himself shifted from Patparganj to his current seat. So, in short, if MLAs have done well, they have managed to beat back the BJP. If MLAs have done badly, the BJP has managed to beat them back. But this much is clear, that the leadership on whose name the election was fought from AAP has not done well at all.
Also, Ms. Fadnis, even till last evening, most of the, primetime debates taking place on other news channels as well, most of the discussions taking place on top platforms, any Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson on any platform was confident that these exit polls are not to be believed. 50 to 55 is the figure, was also stated by some of the very prominent spokespersons of the Aam Aadmi Party. That same voice has now, most of the same speakers as of now have backtracked on those words. No such figure is now being declared on any platform which is public. They are saying, okay, the race isn't quite over. If I also now shift focus to our correspondents on the ground, you can very easily gauge that suddenly there are lesser statements coming out from the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters, lesser appearances being made by any of the leaders. Overall, while we are still saying that these are trends, do you feel it is now gradually sinking into the Aam Aadmi Party that perhaps this is where the result is going to eventually lead to, what the trends are suggesting as of now?
Yeah, and it's demoralizing for the cadre if the leaders are not there. We saw Baijayanth Panda, Jay Panda as he's called, the National Vice President of the BJP, who has stitched together the BJP's campaign, oversaw the campaign. In many ways, it's his victory as well if the BJP forms a government. We saw him coming into the BJP headquarters quite late in the day, I should say, but still coming to the BJP headquarters. But all the top leadership of the AAP is just not there among the people who have worked to make it what it is. So that is distressing. I'm sure Arvind Kejriwal will address a press conference. He's not someone who runs away from adversity. But AAP has not done well, and I think its supporters are conscious of this fact.
And also the promises which were made, Ms. Fadnis, there are clips of Arvind Kejriwal which have, for good reason, now they have gone viral from 5 years ago, saying that you give me 5 years, I'll give you clean drinking water and I will clean the Yamuna River. There were a spree of promises. And then it cuts to the present times where he's saying, I had promised this and it has not happened. Now you give me another 5 years and then I'll make it happen. Do you feel people have really seen through all of this, and all of this happened before the 5th of February? So do you feel all of that has led to the results that we're seeing the trends that we're seeing as of now?
Well, Arvind Kejriwal's party won 62 seats and he asked for 5 years. He then won 67 seats. So clearly, if those 5 years were not enough, he asked for another 5 years and he's asking for yet another 5 years. And all this really makes people angry. So you're right in that respect. But at the same time, there is a sense that AAP was fighting to implement its promises with one hand tied behind its back. And that hand was basically the central government, which was breathing down its neck in preventing it from doing many of the things. And this is a fact that many of the things that it wanted to do, it was not allowed to do by the central government.
And ma'am, do you feel the Aam Aadmi Party's governance took a hit due to the constant firefighting they had to do with all that came their way?
Completely. I think a lot of the problems that were created were man-made. They were not legislative problems, they were not executive problems. A lot of the AAP's problems were also self-made. The way AAP dealt with bureaucrats, we saw the way the Chief Secretary of Delhi, Anshu Prakash, was beaten up in Arvind Kejriwal's house. These are all irrefutable facts. They have been proved in court. We saw the way AAP dealt with other bureaucrats. We have heard off the record from many bureaucrats who say that AAP seems to consider us enemies of the people. We are not enemies of the people. We are just telling you how things should be done. And because it ignored the advice of those very people who secretly may have nurtured a sympathy for AAP and its promises, it fell foul of the whole excise policy. Many bureaucrats told AAP that this is not the right way to go about formulating a policy. AAP ignored that, and we see the result of that before us.
Right. Now, from what it appears, the excise policy really appears to be the undoing of the Aam Aadmi Party. That being said, I just want to come back to a point that you were making earlier. You were talking about the central government, of course, and I just want to understand if that's had some sort of a bearing on its performance, of course, in this Delhi Assembly election.
The central government, I mean, has, of course, sold this idea that if it's the same government in the center and the same government in the state, it will be a better thing for people. But then you can't always have the same government in the center and the same government in the state. You can't always have that. And to make that a sort of a template is not healthy for India's democracy. But that apart, efficiency was a problem with AAP. Highfalutin ideas can go so far. Idealism can go so far. But if you can't implement that properly in an effective way, then you are really nowhere. There's not much point in talking about all that.
Clearly, the people are not going to cut them any slack, of course, from the numbers that we can see right now. Aam Aadmi Party now at 27. Just a short while ago, they were at 30, then 29, now at 27.
And of course, hey, we look at those visuals coming in. I mean, how much of that is theatrics, how much of that is genuine is left to be answered later. But you see those tears clearly. If it's somebody from the BJP party, it seems to be tears of joy.
Well, pretty much in the headquarters, a victory has been declared for the BJP. We've been seeing these shots of early celebrations coming on for the past hour or so. We also saw some shots from the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. The mood there appears to be more somber now, but yeah, from what we can see here from the BJP headquarters.
Yeah, and it's about 11:20 a.m. It was at 8 a.m. when we began speaking with Dharamjot, who's there at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. And you could, at that time, it really felt that the entire media, everyone's focusing on what's happening at the AAP headquarters. And now suddenly you see a flurry of visuals coming in from the BJP office. You look at those flags and you look at the reactions which are coming in. Most of the visuals that we are, most of the commotion is now in the BJP camp. And apart from that, the figures, just to recap those for our viewers: 43 for the BJP, 27 for Aam Aadmi Party. These are the trends which only seem to be becoming more and more solid as time is progressing. We're about 3.5 hours into the counting process. There are 19 counting centers, and that gap seems to have steadied around this point.
Right. And of course, with that, we are going to be calling it a wrap on this edition of the News Bulletin. Of course, don't go anywhere. Lots lined up on the other side. Ms. Fadnis, thank you so much for staying on with us, and thank you so much for your insights. It's great to have you in the studio finally with us.
It was wonderful talking to you.